This is proof I own beachfront property in Wolfe's head, and that he is such a fraud, he can't talk about Pokemon legality without incriminating himself as a liar and a cheater. And then just starting off with nonsense, very well researched video. A video that is so poorly researched, they didn't even know that my brother is Ace Trainer Troy, and he was making a parody video. So there's no evidence of me saying or doing or getting anything wrong to where it has to get that desperate. But then Wolfe coming in with the lies. One small note, the Dream Ball Raichu did not know the move Endeavor and had been obtained legitimately. How do you legitimately obtain a Pokemon that can only exist through hacking? And then there's this lie. Unbeknownst to me, one of the parents had been hacked, which passed down the Dream Ball. Here's Wolfe admitting that the parents were hacked because he doesn't believe that breeding hacked parents is against the rules, even though the Pokemon Company has explicitly said that.
To a Raichu event back in Gen 5, but it was male only, so you couldn't pass down the ball. And so because of that, and that actually is an interesting point, you can't legally get a Raichu in a Dream Ball without hacking is what you could believe. But the thing is that if you are traded a Raichu that has been hacked and you breed from it, and the Raichu is female and it's in a Dream Ball, you can obtain perfectly legal Pichu eggs that are totally legal and in Dream Balls just because the parent was hacked.
And what makes it unbelievable that anyone falls from this lie for Wolfe is that we're talking about someone that ended up becoming the world champion and had already been to Worlds Finals previously and was well-known competitive player for years, not understanding basics about Pokemon legality. He didn't get bamboozled by getting traded a Pokemon that was secretly hacked but looked legitimate. It was visibly impossible at all stages of this. Female Dream Ball Pikachu never existed in Generation 5 or 6, so Wolfe is confirmed a cheater right there. And then we're supposed to believe someone caught with impossible hacked Pokemon who has also admitted to knowingly breeding hacked Pokemon showed up with a legitimate Raichu that was a 1 in 25 million odd discontinued event. And Perfect IV legendary Pokemon, which would total 1 million hours of soft resetting within a month before the event happened. And then another deliberate lie from Wolfe because he is that terrified of me, and we saw that in the World's 2023 cheating video, that the second the thought of me enters his mind, the only thing he's capable of is stuttering and fidgeting and going, and changing subjects, because if he actually showed the tweets, or he showed what Kurt has presented, then that would reveal to his audience that cheating is a problem, and that Wolfe is a bad person for defending cheating. And he can't even name me. The subject of your video has purposefully tried to conflate this Raichu used in an unofficial online tournament with the event Raichu I used at Worlds 2016, which has resulted in a lot of confusion. Literally never. Anyone that's actually watched any of my videos on the subject, I always split up the Raichu. I say, Wolfe used 2 hacked Raichu, the Dream Ball and the one he used at Worlds. This is an impossible VGC Pokemon. There you go, you can now dislike the video and click off knowing that Wolfe Glick has used a Pokemon that can only exist through cheating. What Wolfie won't tell you about his Raichu is that because it's an event, you have to soft reset for the stats. Here's his Raichu. It's perfect. That means 1 in 32 odds per stat, also 1 in 25 because you can't use Synchronize on the ability for an event in Generation 6. Now, the Pika Cup event did give you 2 guaranteed IVs, but that still leaves 1 in 26 million odds. And he had 2 of them because he gave a copy away. These odds are simply not possible without hacking, especially for an event that happened the year before we even knew there was going to be GS Cup rules where this Raichu would work. Now, Wolfe says this Pikachu is one of the biggest reasons he won Worlds, so it's no surprise that his friend, who also had the same hacked Raichu, got 3rd place after facing Wolfe in the semifinals. So this Raichu just gave a massive advantage and no one else could have it because you need to cheat to get it. Wolfie also had perfect legendaries, Kyogre and Rayquaza, which would take thousands of hours of soft resetting each to obtain. Cheating is wrong, kids. Then there's the multiple teams that Wolfe used that have been data mined and confirmed hacked, also going back to Generation 5. Shiny, legendary Pokemon with hidden power and perfect IVs. Of course he cheated. And then Duncan Can't Die saying that he hacked for Wolfe back in the day. So anything that is not a direct admission from Wolfe that he knowingly uses hacked Pokemon is a lie. So after I proved Wolfe was a cheater and lying about it, his toxic audience said, well, nobody cares. Okay, if nobody cares, why does Wolfie lie? Oh, it turns out a lot of people care. Like his audience. And the Pokemon Company. and that Wolfe would be banned if he was honest about how much cheating he's done. We saw this with Gavin Michaels, that he got a permaban for trying to tell people how to dodge the hack check after 2023 Worlds, which was then reduced to a year ban, but Wolfe would get punished if he ever told the truth, therefore he is forced to lie forever. I have won. The Pokemon community is just evil because the figurehead, or the main content creator of the Pokemon community, is objectively evil. He cheats, then lies about it to steal prize money and gain fame. He then uses that fame to manipulate a mostly young audience into thinking he's legit, and then slanders anyone that catches him cheating. Wolfe knows he has to keep on faking it, or else it's impossible for him to make it, which is why he's this terrified of me. It's so crazy that his idiot fans say like, oh, Wolfe lives rent-free in my head, when he's the one seeking the hate content to further push his lies and nonsense that he has told the entire time because I caught him. So yeah, I just want to show you guys that the lies have to get bigger and bigger because Wolfe's evil has gotten that crazy. This really put it into perspective. Pokemon VGC World Championship 2012. And there's Wolfe Glick. Cheating. Now, these were the early days of competitive Pokemon, so one-off hack team of shiny legendaries, sure, why not? But then you just kind of follow Wolfe Glick throughout the years, and it's non-stop, constant, provable, hacked Pokemon. There is nothing Wolfe can say to defend these Pokemon he has used, except an admission of cheating. That is how confirmed hacked these Pokemon are. And just so we're all clear, I want to show everyone how it is this way. So if you end up enjoying the video, you gotta leave a like. If you care about legitimacy at all, integrity, if you're against lying, if you're against cheating, any of that, you need to leave a like on the video, need to share with your friends, and you need to comment your thoughts down below because Wolfe Glick has manipulated his audience to a point that I can only call evil. It's a decade of habitual cheating in a children's game and then lying and defaming other people for years to keep on getting away with it. Stealing tens of thousands of dollars to over $100,000 in prize money from people following the rules? There's nothing else you can call that but evil. So let's go and break it down, starting with the obvious all the way back in 2012. We have shiny, legendary, perfect IV Pokemon in Generation 5. There was no hyper training, there was no way of modifying the IVs, and while doing research for this video, I actually learned something. Roaming Pokemon don't even get the synchronized 50% chance. And in Generation 5, Thundurus was a roaming Pokemon, so numbers are about to get silly. We got 32 to the power of 6. Then multiply by 25 because that's going to be the nature roll, and then 8,192 for the shiny, bringing us to a big number. I wanted to double check just to be absolutely sure because it's 1 in 219 trillion. Alright, but people are still out there thinking Wolfe Glick's legitimate and never cheated. Don't know why people choose to be idiots and lie to themselves like that, but alright, and that doesn't even factor in the Terrakion. So Terrakion's going to be the same thing, 32 to the power of 6, but I believe that you can actually get the 50% chance for the nature, so times 2, and then we're also going to have the shiny odds of it, and okay, cool, we got 17 trillion. Well, that's just 2 of Wolfe's 6 Pokemon, so what other Pokemon did he use? Really? And people defend this scumbag? And he had even more shiny competitive Pokemon before the Destiny Knot passed down 5 IVs. Sure. This is why VGC is dying and no one wants to play competitive Pokemon. They saw this a decade ago, went, oh, it's just shiny legendary team versus shiny legendary team, or everyone choosing hacked Pokemon because it's obvious, and then they never saw it get any better, so there's no reason to invest into it. And we also have to acknowledge the opponent, Ray Rizzo. Ray Rizzo is such a cheater that it should be impossible for him to come back from it. Dream Ball, Aegislash in the 6th generation. But not only that, he used more hatch Pokemon that are impossible to obtain because he just hacked his team. Obviously, he should get punished, right? Nope, he got hired by the Pokemon Company as a caster, and then is like a special final boss guest for the Players' Cup Invitational. and then you wonder, it's like, well, all of these guys were friends back in the day. Cybertron, who works for the Pokemon Company, Wolfe Glick and Ray Rizzo, who are hacking it off against each other in 2012, and then everyone just gets special treatment and gets away with cheating. Cool. But back to Wolfie, because even though it's been almost 6 years of his Dream Ball Raichu, people still struggle with the fact that it's hacked. So I guess we need to keep on clarifying this, because every time Wolf says he does not cheat Pokemon, he is lying. And let's go and prove that. So here's his Raichu coming out of a Dream Ball. That's going to be important later. And then later we get to see the moveset of this Raichu. By the way, this video is on Wolfie's channel, so there is factual, hard, indisputable evidence of Wolfie using cheated Pokemon on his channel right now. So he's also deleted videos in the past I've shown of him using hacked Pokemon, so we're going to see how long this one stays up. But yeah, so Encore back in 2016, Generation 6, was an egg move on the Raichu. Well, that's where things get a little complicated, because the only way of having a Dream Ball Pikachu is going to be from a Generation 5 Global Link event. The problem is, the event was gender locked, so you could only have a male Dream Ball Pikachu. That's it. That was the only way of getting a Dream Ball. Well, this is where the egg move comes in on the Encore, because male and gender unknown Pokemon, including Ditto, have no impact on the type of ball inherited. So I've seen idiots for the last 6 years saying, well, he just gets the Dream Ball Pikachu, he breeds it with a Ditto, or he breeds it with a female Pikachu, then you get the Encore, and then the ball is going to pass down. No, Dream Ball will never pass from a male Pikachu into an offspring in Generation 6, because that's how the game is hard-coded. So, this Pokemon cannot exist without hacking, and there's Wolf's face using it. Okay, 1 time is happenstance, 2 times is coincidence, but 3 is a pattern of cheating. And Wolf had been so emboldened by cheating and getting away with it for his 2016 World Championship and his long history of using hacked Pokemon that it doesn't get more blatant than what happened with this Raichu, and people still deny the cheating. Fine, you can make the just wrong argument that you believe if a Pokemon is hacked but has obtainable stats, it should be used in competitive. Them's ain't the rules. So Wolfe Glick broke the rules. That is fact. He then lied about breaking the rules and has habitually lied since then. And again, when we get to the pattern of using hacked Pokemon, you can't claim ignorance anymore, especially when you've been caught multiple times. You can't be like, oh, Verlisify lied, oh, Verlisify lied, oh, Verlisify lied, and then get caught every time and then go, well, how am I supposed to know? You know, I didn't get the Pokemon myself. It doesn't matter. It's even in the rules that even if the Pokemon are traded to you, you are now responsible for those Pokemon if they are hacked. You can't claim ignorance when it keeps on happening. So yeah, we got the Raichu. This was an event-only Raichu, which means you had to naturally roll the IVs. Now, after doing my recent video about how every non-Japanese Pokemon World Champion is a confirmed cheater, it has been brought to my attention that Wolf's Raichu that he used in 2016 had 2 guaranteed IVs. Now, it does change the numbers a bit, and that's why I wanted to clear up, but it does not change the numbers enough to change the fact that Wolfe Glick used a hacked Raichu at 2016 Worlds, and then had a copy of this statistically improbable Pokemon, while also his friend Marcus having another copy of the same Pokemon with the same team, who then threw the semifinals match to Wolf to put him into the finals. It's all dirty, because Wolf is a very dirty person. So let's see how those numbers look. We got 32 to the power of 4 because of 2 guaranteed IVs, and then 25. That's still 1 in 26 million. On top of Wolf's dubious history of cheating. And it's also a very rare, very special event distribution where you had to participate in a tournament, get the code, use the code within a specific time window, and then soft reset your game every time you wanted to roll for the Pikachu. Still didn't happen. That's not even the craziest part. So now we get to the maker of PK Hex. Kurt is the god king of Pokemon hacking. He has the final say on a Pokemon's legitimacy, and he confirmed that the Moltres Wolf used for the Players' Cup 2 was hacked. And I was suspicious of that Moltres because, again, this pattern of cheating and lying from Wolfe Glick made me think, the habitual liar and cheater is now cheating and then lying about it. Alright, well, Kurt came in, saved the day, confirmed it's an impossible Pokemon. And somehow, Wolf got away with it. He has brainwashed his audience so hard that they will deny the indisputable facts in front of them. And then it got spooky because we go back to a video I did in 2016. Again, he's calling me out, lying about me catching him cheating, turning his audience against me because he has them heavily manipulated, and then he just keeps on doing it. Habitual. This is a pattern of evil. It's nuts. But that wasn't even enough. So even after the Players Cup 2, he was for the Invitational. We already talked about that because hackers galore for the Players Cup Invitational. Wolf's team hacked. There are issues with the Groudon and Incineroar. Groudon was edited to have a 0 IV in speed. So just a hacked, edited Pokemon, which is explicitly against the rules. The use of external devices to modify or create Pokemon in a player's party is expressly forbidden, regardless if that Pokemon belongs to the player. And then the Incineroar also has some very commonly hacked values. 0 height, weight, hidden values. You know, common mistake when fabricating data. Otherwise, 1 in 139 billion. So we have hundreds of trillions, just straight up impossible, can only be hacked. Multiple tens of millions. The Moltres was also very, very low odds. And then, 139 billion. I don't know why Wolfey even has a YouTube channel or is even playing competitive Pokemon when he should just be hitting the lottery every single day. And if the statistical odds of the Incineroar are unconvincing, there's also issue with the OT name. Trainer names should not have data at the end of the string, but the Incineroar does. Most likely from a modified distribution, this Pokemon is so hacked that even the maker of PK Hex doesn't know how it's this hacked. And then the Wolf's sheep come crawling in. I can't comprehend how someone can be this broken. Why did you pick a casual invitational and take your shots? I feel like when you invite exclusively world champions, you don't have a casual invitational. Like the one tournament that isn't high stakes. Well, Wolf also, or not Wolf, but Kurt also showed how the Players Cup did have hacked Pokemon. Wolf obviously brought a team that was never meant to be serious, because that makes cheating okay. Like, sure, expose cheating competitive, but pick a real tournament. He already did. Just demonstrating that he's clearly capable of hacking and likely does for other things, not a big deal. And that's it right there. If you get caught with steroids in between events, you get banned. If you get VAC banned even playing casual matches in CSGO, you get professionally banned. Because it shows the intent to cheat. And again, we don't even need it for this quote-unquote casual thing, even though it was a major invitational tournament from the Pokemon Company. But it's about the capability. If anything, this comment proves the hacking even more, because it shows the capability of cheating for Wolfe Glick, and then his constant lying about it. And then also, as I showed recently, Wolf has a hacked Switch, and he was commissioning hacks for Pokemon games. And it looks like me kind of bringing attention to this did get him in trouble, and he had to delete the tweet. So again, more lying, more deception, more covering up of what's going on here. He's doing wrong. He's showing admittance to doing wrong. And yet people still defend him, and he still tries to lie his way out of it. Like, if you're a legitimate player, you should be nowhere in the realm of hacking Pokemon games like this, especially as a former world champion, and especially if you're trying to defame people over being caught with proven hacked Pokemon. It's crazy how I've been starting these videos with a very simple question that is yet to be answered. If cheating isn't wrong in Pokemon, then why does Wolfey lie? So, my new favorite tweet just dropped. We have Kurt coming in because he's mad at the doubters. There are still doubters about Wolfey's Player Cup 2 Moltres being hacked since I didn't go into detail last time. Let's get into the details. So this is going back to the tweet that I've been referencing many times because it proves me right. It also proves that WolfeyVGC is a habitual liar, cheater, and general fraud. So we were talking about the Pokemon VGC 25th Anniversary Invitational, where every non-Japanese player ended up using hacked Pokemon, including Wolfe Glick. So WolfeyVGC hacked at the 25th Invitational, and then at the end of this thread about Arashimati also bring up Seijun Park and his illegal Pokemon. By the way, Wolfe's Moltres was hacked. Impossible overworld RNG values in a bad memory general location. Somehow, people don't believe it. Even though Wolfe is a proven career-long cheater, and we have the maker of PK Hex, the absolute authority on hacked Pokemon, confirming hacked Pokemon, people still in denial that Wolfe is a cheater. So let's get into the details. The issues were bad location memory and bad overworld RNG correlation. I'll explain each issue in the following tweets, mostly because WolfeyVGC fans are very slow. So we have the infamous Moltres. A captured Pokemon has a memory of a general location based on where it is met. So actually, memory general location isn't even like, oh, memory as in data and stuff like that. No, it's just blatantly impossible to obtain. So Wolfe's Moltres from the Fields of Honor has the memory of a mystical place. However, Field of Honor uses a vast field. The mystical place general location is for the Regitemples and Crown Shrine. So you don't even have to know anything about hacking or Pokemon data or all of this stuff to see that, like, that is as hacked as it gets for the Moltres. And Wolfe defended it. This Pokemon is so cheated, the data shows that it was effectively a Mewtwo caught on Route 3, or something absurd like that. It just cannot exist, and people got mad at me. I was like, this Moltres just doesn't seem legitimate, because the odds of getting the perfect, oh man, I forget, yeah, the perfect mark, I forgot what they were called. It's like the perfect mark and perfect IVs, even with bottle caps, still puts in 1 in tens of thousand odds for a legendary Pokemon you need to do a complicated soft reset for. It's just hacked. Also, neither trainer had friendship greater than the initial who EV trained and leveled it to 100. So yeah, like the friendship value is just impossibly low as well. And to get an idea of how stupid the people defending WolfeyVGC are, they thought that Normigirl was Alpharad just because of the trainer name, because they can't comprehend that trainer names are not unique. And there was also absolutely zero evidence of Alpharad ever obtaining this Moltres. But also, WolfeyVGC has corrupted Alpharad into thinking that cheating is okay. He used to be good. He used to see, like, shiny Pokemon go, hey, doesn't that mean the Pokemon's hacked? And Wolfe went, no, that's not cheated. Even though that's a complete lie, and now we can see from the constant confirmation of Wolfey being just a habitual liar, it's a shame to see how much he has ruined integrity in the Pokemon community, not just in VGC, but for other once good content creators like Alpharad. So I think what needs to happen is everyone spam Alpharad with this post, mention it in his comments, send it to him on Twitter, any way you can get a hold of him. He needs to know the truth. He also needs to know that he's been lied to by WolfeyVGC. So yeah, the Moltres is already undeniable, hacked right here, but let's see how it's even more hacked. So when the game creates an overworld encounter, it saves a 32-bit seed to generate all of the Pokemon's values like IVs. Due to this restriction and variability, we can derive the seed and run it forward to check if the values match what we expected. The values do not line up, so that's what I mean by impossible overworld RNG values. Again, this is the ultimate authority on hacked Pokemon who has made PK Hex and knows everything about Pokemon data, so when he says it, it's true. So PK Hex reversal even accounts for the 2 to the power of 32 chance the RNG yields a bad value, no omissions, calculating things forward, oops, doesn't match, no point checking the remaining values because it's just so hacked they don't even have to go through everything through the Pokemon. So the entire team is archived over at Project Pokemon. 2 more rental teams from the Players' Cup 2 are still accessible online. Both have illegal stuff. So 2nd place and 4th place also hacked. And as we saw with like Players' Cup 4, everyone hacked in the top because VGC is just that corrupt and shitty. Both have illegal stuff. 2nd place at Indianapolis had hacks too. So modded Pokemon. Alright, so now we have runner-up for my new 2nd favorite tweet. Actual video of Kurt when someone says Wolfey's Moltres isn't hacked. I know more than you. Exactly. And then this is where we just get into the complete illness of the Pokemon community. The Pokemon community has enough toxicity without you giving Verlisify more ammo to crap out low-effort drama videos. How is a drama to state a fact? Like, that is just the ultimate of derangement. Like, let's just zoom out. Let's remove Pokemon, WolfeyVGC, me from the equation. The person being attacked by the majority is the person saying cheating is wrong. And yet the person that's against cheating is seen as the toxic one. Also, the absolute inability to cope. It's weird coming from the guy who made PKHex to start with. Well, that's because he doesn't want people cheating at events to then steal money from legitimate players using his programs. It's only supposed to be for, you know, friendlies and stuff like that, which I still disagree with, but even the maker of PKX has his own morals, and it's not just like, oh, he's targeting WolfeyVGC, so he must have a vendetta to lie about Wolf's Pokemon. No, he's going after all the other world champions, and recently, the video I did yesterday, showing that the Salt Lake City regional first place cheated. Also, ginning Mons with legal moves and stats does not give any competitive advantage whatsoever, and that's another lie that is easily disproven with a simple example. Player A has 200 hours of battle experience and access to over 1,000 Pokemon. Player B has 10 hours of battle experience and only access to a dozen Pokemon. Which player has an advantage over the other? Player A has the objective, indisputable advantage over Player B. Now, if this advantage was gained through the breaking of rules, by definition, it is cheating. Acting dishonestly or unfairly in order to gain an advantage. Breaking the rules is unfair, and Wolfey lying is acting dishonestly. So here we have it in the rules. The use of external devices, such as a mobile app, to modify or create items or Pokemon in a player's battle team is expressly forbidden, regardless of whether the Pokemon or items belong to that player or were traded for. So it doesn't matter if it's from even the real Alpharad, which it isn't, and also all of Wolf's other lies about like, oh, well, I get Pokemon from my community. If you keep getting Pokemon from your community and they turn out to be hacked every single time, and you keep on doing it, that's no different than cheating. You are knowingly participating in the use of hacked Pokemon and cheating, and even if you didn't know, you're still on the hook according to the rules. So this is rule breaking to generate advantage, which is indisputable cheating. And also, who the hell cares about Verlisify? Well, this guy right here, and this guy right here, and pretty much just everyone else that I live rent-free in their head over wanting to have a legitimate competitive scene. And then we can show some other losers lying about the situation. This is a good time for the semi-frequent reminder that the Pokemon Company International stance on Mons is so long as it passes hack check and you don't make a scene about how you got them, your Pokemon are legal. Now, this makes absolutely no sense, because if the Pokemon are legal, it shouldn't matter what you say, but they're illegal because they break the rules. And that's also why, like, Pokemon Company's stance is, if they're modified, PKHex, genned, edited in any way, they are hacked. It's right here. This is literally their stance. So that's a liar. This is like saying if you buy your TCG cards singly and not gacha pull style from packs, you're cheating in TCG. Do you realize how ridiculous you sound right now? There's literally no rule against purchasing TCG cards separately. There is a rule from modifying or creating items or Pokemon in a player's battle team. So yeah, like, it's crazy. I can't comprehend at this point where it's like you can't answer a simple question. Why does Wolfey lie? And then you also can't handle the absolute fact that Wolf uses cheated Pokemon. And that it also gains a competitive advantage, and that's why everything's wrong. So, the corruption gets worse, the evidence against Wolfey gets even crazier, and the idiots have to... We're so far beyond doubling down. Wait, what was that number we saw? We are at 2 to the power of 32 level of toxicity in the Pokemon community, and it just keeps on getting worse, even as more proof comes out. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.